Not every silence is empty. Sometimes silence is armor, a strategy from heaven to protect what is still being formed inside you. The chosen ones learn early that not everything should be said, because not every ear is prepared to hear what comes from the Spirit. There are things that God speaks only in secret, things that are not meant to be shared, commented on, or justified. They are revelations that He delivers for you to carry in your heart. Not because they are small, but because they are too great to be exposed before the right time. The world pushes us to speak everything, to share every plan, to explain every step. But the chosen ones feel differently. They know that the more precious what they carry is, the more protected it needs to be. Because exposing it before the time can attract what tries to destroy. Have you ever wanted to speak, but something inside you said, "Not yet"? Have you ever wanted to share a dream, but realized that the person next to you wouldn't understand? That is not a block. That is discernment. It is the Spirit teaching you that silence is also a language. Even Jesus, being the Son of God, chose silence many times. He spoke to the Father in secret. He kept words in His heart. He knew that some seeds grow better away from exposure. And if even He used silence as protection, why would it be different for you? This message is for you who carry something in your spirit, but still do not know how to explain it. Who feels that you are living hidden promises, silent battles, and directions that you cannot share with anyone. Today, you will understand why the chosen ones keep certain things a secret. And you will discover that your silence is not weakness. It is spiritual wisdom. If this word has already stirred you, follow this channel right now. Here you will learn to protect what heaven has entrusted to you, until God says, "Now speak." Not every war is visible. There are battles that take place in silence, within, away from the eyes of the world. Those who are chosen by God know what it is like to live this way. Feeling too much, fighting quietly, carrying pains that no one imagines, because purpose demands a resistance that only heaven understands. People see your firm posture, your calm demeanor, your apparent strength. But they have no idea what you have overcome to stay standing. What you go through inside cannot be explained with words. And when you try to tell, few truly listen with the Spirit. That is why the chosen learn early to keep their pains on the altar, not in everyday conversations. Not every ear has the maturity to hear what your spirit faces. Not every person has the structure to deal with your depths. David knew this. While fleeing from Saul, he faced fear, loneliness, and anguish. He slept in caves, cried in secret, and questioned in prayer. But he did not open up to just anyone. His tears did not flow before the people. They flowed before God, and God understood each one of them. Perhaps you are in that phase now, when it seems that everything is fine on the outside, but inside there is a storm. When you smile, but feel the weight of the war, and even surrounded by people, you feel alone, because your struggle is spiritual. This type of pain cannot be thrown onto just anyone's lap, because there is a risk. Those who do not understand judge, and those who lack discernment spread. That is why the Holy Spirit teaches you to be silent and to trust, to speak more with God than with the world. There are wounds that are being healed in secret. And in that place, God strengthens you. You do not need to be understood by everyone. You just need to keep being healed by the Father. And gradually, what is pain today will be a testimony tomorrow. Some battles are not meant to be exposed. They are to be won with fasting, prayer, and tears on the pillow. Because the strength that comes from God is silent, but real. It shapes you in the desert, prepares you in the early mornings, and lifts you with authority. The chosen ones are not superheroes. They are sensitive people. often broken inside, but upheld by a grace that no one sees. Your pain is not a sign of weakness. It is part of the process for those who have been called to carry something greater. And the greater the calling, the deeper the preparation. God has not left you alone. He is present in your internal struggles. He is hearing what you cannot put into words. He is collecting the tears that fall unnoticed. Therefore, do not despair for not being understood. Keep in the right place what is weighing you down. The altar is your refuge. Prayer is your spiritual release. And silence can be your protection until heaven transforms everything. God sees the battle you are living. He is counting the days you held on without shouting. He is noting every surrender you made, even without strength. And when his time comes, he will honor you in a way that will silence even those who doubted. Chosen one, continue going to the altar. Tell everything to God. Do not hide from him what the world cannot understand, because heaven listens even to tears, and he who called you will also heal you. When God entrusts a dream to a chosen one, he is not just revealing the future, he is activating the process. And this process most often begins in silence, because there are dreams that, if exposed too soon, can be aborted by human words or spiritual attacks. What God has shown you is real. It was in secret. It was with details. And you felt what only those who are chosen feel. The heart burning, the soul being pushed towards something greater, the certainty that you were born for a purpose beyond the ordinary. But this revelation needs to be guarded with maturity, because not everyone who walks with you will understand what God has planted inside you. Some will mock, others will feel envy, and many will try to discourage you, not out of malice, but from a lack of spiritual vision. Joseph experienced this. He shared his dreams with his brothers, dreams that came directly from God. But the brothers did not celebrate. They reacted with hatred. They tried to kill him, sold him as a slave. The dream was true, but the environment in which it was revealed was immature. You need to discern this. The promise is holy, but not every soil is fertile enough to receive it. When God gives you a dream, he is not asking you to convince others. He just wants you to trust. The faith in what you saw must be greater than the need to prove what you saw, because time always reveals what was generated in the spirit. Heaven works with seasons. What was planted today may take years to blossom. And in this waiting time, silence is protection. Speaking too soon can attract unnecessary warfare, but keeping it in your heart activates God's covering over it. Mary, the mother of Jesus, heard prophetic words and kept them in her heart. She did not go around telling everything she heard. She prayed, pondered, and trusted, because she knew some words are seeds, and seeds grow better when hidden. Sharing a dream requires wisdom, not because you are hiding something, but because you are caring for something sacred. Dreams reveal destiny, and the enemy does not need to know all the details to try to interfere. He just needs a crack, and a word spoken at the wrong time can be that crack. Therefore, if God has shown you something, take care of it diligently. If he spoke of ministry, of expansion, of healing, of the future, keep it safe. Nourish this dream with prayer, with fasting, with faith. And when the right time comes, God himself will confirm it, and no one will be able to prevent it. Chosen one, you do not need to explain what God has shown you. You only need to believe, obey, and protect. Heaven does not need an audience to fulfill what it promised. It only needs a heart that is available and quiet enough to listen when it is time to act. Remember, when Joseph lived out what he dreamed, his brothers were before him without even recognizing him. The same dream that put him in the pit was what lifted him in the palace. Because what comes from God may even pass through the valley, but it ends on the throne. Keep in your heart what God has planted. Continue working in secret. What is hidden today will be a testimony tomorrow, and those who doubt today will witness the fulfillment. Not everyone knows what it is like to be awakened by a spiritual direction in the middle of the night. Not everyone would understand what it means to feel God speaking inside, even without an audible voice. But those who are chosen learn to listen in silence, because God speaks differently to those He has set apart. There are words that do not come from books, nor from advice, nor from sermons. They are whispers from heaven that arrive when you are alone, in your room, in traffic, on a walk. Suddenly, something touches your spirit, and you know, God is saying something just for me. And the most important thing, these words are not for everyone. They are secrets between father and child. They are codes of direction, counsel for decisions, warnings about people, strategies for future times. That is why they need to be kept with reverence and care. Mary, the mother of Jesus, teaches us this wisely. When she heard prophetic words about her son, she kept everything in her heart. She did not go around telling everyone. She knew that those words had a right time to fulfill, and that exposing them too soon could confuse rather than reveal. You may have lived this. God spoke something to your spirit, and you felt the urge to share. But something also held you back. A feeling of, wait, it's not the moment yet. That break is not a blockage. It's the Spirit teaching you to protect what is sacred. Not everything God says should become a post. Not every revelation should become a conversation. There are times when God whispers to see if you trust enough to keep it safe. Because those who do not learn to keep the secret may end up exposing what heaven is still shaping. There are words that are medicine just for you. They do not need to be understood by others. God reveals them to you because He knows you have the strength to carry them. And while you keep them safe, He will strengthen you. He will confirm. He will prepare you for when the time comes. What you hear in the secret is spiritual food. It is the daily bread that sustains you when the world is silent. It is in those moments that the chosen one is adjusted, realigned, corrected, and directed. And this is priceless. It is between you and God. Talking too much about what you heard in the Spirit can weaken the impact of the Word. Because in trying to explain what is celestial to those who think only with reason, you may be misinterpreted or even discredited. The chosen ones learn that there is power in silence, that keeping is just as important as obeying, and that sometimes God speaks to see if you are ready, not to expose, but to carry with responsibility. Continue listening in secret. Keep noting down, praying, fasting for what God revealed to you when no one else was around. These words are seeds for the future. They are what will keep you steady when the world tries to confuse you. Do not worry about sharing now. The right time will come. And when it does, the words that are hidden today will transform into public testimonies that no one will be able to deny. Being strong in God is not about raising your voice. It is not about appearing invincible. It is enduring what only those who have a covenant with heaven can endure. The chosen ones develop a silent strength, a strength that does not arise from pride, but from overcoming pain, from persistent faith, from total dependence on God. This strength does not need an audience. It is forged when no one is watching. It is built on days when everything seems to crumble, but you choose to keep going. Days when the desire to stop is great, but your conviction in the purpose is greater. True strength is born in secret, not in applause. The problem is that, many times, the world only understands strength when it asserts itself. And since the chosen one is calm, sensitive, and generous, many think he is weak. But it is quite the opposite. Those who have been set apart by God have learned to fight without hurting, to endure without complaining, to win without showing off. Samson had physical strength, but he lost everything when he exposed the secret of his strength to the wrong person. He entrusted what was sacred to someone who had no reverence. The chosen one learns from this. Not everyone can know your source, because what is holy needs to be protected. The strength you carry today is not just a gift. It is a healed scar. It is a trauma overcome. It is loss transformed into faith. It is the certainty that behind your serene smile lies a story of overcoming that the entire heaven knows, even if no one here does. And the more God strengthens you, the more He teaches you to be discreet. Because the strength of the chosen is not for display. It is for mission. It is to support others. It is to intercede, protect, and keep firm those who are about to fall. You are not strong to show off. You are strong to sustain what you carry. Therefore, do not worry about proving your strength. It does not need to be explained. It is already seen by heaven. And when necessary, God Himself will show you how to use it, with wisdom, with purpose, and with reverence. You have been forged in His presence, and no one can take away the strength that God Himself placed in you. Not every dream is just a product of the mind, and not every vision comes from fatigue or imagination. Those who are chosen know. There are moments when God speaks with images, symbols, and revelations. And when this happens, the Spirit feels that it is something greater than a simple nighttime experience. God communicates with His children in many ways. But with the chosen, He often speaks through dreams and visions. They are scenes that mark, details that touch, and impressions that do not fade over time. It is as if heaven is sending personal messages, spiritual instructions coded in images. And when these revelations come, the heart understands. This cannot be shared with just anyone. Many times, the urge to share comes quickly. We want to tell, to ask, to confirm, but the Spirit holds us back, because not everyone has the spiritual maturity to understand. And what was meant to be understood with reverence can end up being met with mockery, disbelief, or devaluation. Daniel had powerful visions. Some he understood, others not so much. But in many of them, he kept them in his heart, until heaven gave him the correct interpretation. He did not rush to others. He took them to God, because he knew that this type of revelation requires holiness and discernment. The chosen one learns over time. Not every dream is meant to be told. Some are warnings, others are confirmations. There are also those that reveal strategies or dangers, and when you speak too soon, you can weaken the revelation or even jeopardize what God wants to do. Keep dreams like seeds. Write them down. Pray, fast, wait. What comes from God, He Himself confirms. And when the moment comes, He will give you the courage and the right environment to share. Other than that, silence is protection. Visions also require care. Seeing in the Spirit is a responsibility. You may see something about someone, about a place, or about the future. But that does not give you the freedom to go around speaking. Because prophecy is not a spectacle. It is a tool for transformation, and it should be used with reverence. Those who do not understand the spiritual world will try to silence you, ridicule you, or make you doubt. That is why heaven teaches you to guard. Because when you guard, you honor, and those who honor the revelation receive more. God only entrusts deep revelations to hearts that know how to protect what they receive. So, if you dream differently, see what others do not see, and feel what you cannot explain. Do not be alarmed. You are being trained to hear and see like few others, but along with the gift comes the responsibility to know when to speak and when to simply pray. Continue being sensitive. Continue allowing yourself to be used, but never rush. Because what heaven reveals in silence, the world will only understand when God decides to manifest it. And when that day comes, what you saw in secret will be a confirmation for many. Spiritual growth is silent. It happens in the heart, in daily choices, in the renunciations that no one sees. When a chosen one begins to mature with God, this process does not need to be announced. Because heaven does not measure progress by the noise we make, but by the root we are creating in secret. You are growing, you are praying more, understanding better, discerned with more clarity. But not everyone will notice this, and that's okay. Because growing with God is different from growing for the world. The world values appearance, applause, quick results. God looks at character, obedience, depth. The chosen live phases where everything happens in the invisible. It seems that nothing has changed on the outside, but on the inside, the spirit is being strengthened. This growth is slow, steady, constant. And the more you grow, the less you need to prove that you are changing. Jesus lived this. For 30 years, he grew in wisdom, grace, and stature, away from the crowds. He was preparing in secret for something that would only come at the right time. And the same happens with you. Being silent about your process is not denying what God is doing. It is protecting what is still being shaped. When you talk too much about what is not yet ready, you risk being influenced, pressured, or even diverted from your focus. There are phases when God closes all external doors to open the internal ones. You pray, study, listen, learn, and all of this is shaping you. But only you and God know what is being built, and that's how it has to be. Because intimacy with God is not displayed, it is lived. You do not need to prove to anyone that you are growing. The fruit will show. Your peace will speak. Your posture will reveal. There will come a time when even those who ignored you will notice that there is something different about you, and that something has a name: maturity in the spirit. Continue watering your garden in silence. Continue seeking without rushing to appear. Heaven knows where to find you. And when the time comes, He Himself will take you to the right place. Until then, value the process. Because growing with God is the greatest sign that you are on the right path. When God begins to direct you towards something new, the natural impulse is to tell, to share the joy, divide the plans, ask for opinions. But those who are chosen learn. The next step is not always meant to be revealed, because what is still in its beginning needs silence to gain form and strength. God works with purpose and strategy. When He shows you something, it is often just for you, because the next step is sacred, and the sacred should not be exposed. If you speak too soon, you may attract resistance, distraction, or even envy. The enemy does not attack what he does not know. Nehemiah gives us a great example. When God sent him to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, he did not go out announcing the plan. He observed, prayed, and only shared what God had placed in his heart when everything was clear. Before that, absolute silence. Not everyone will understand where God is taking you, and that is okay. Not everyone needs to understand. What matters is that you continue moving forward, even without an audience, because heaven walks with those who trust more in the voice of God than in the validation of men. Keeping your next steps is an act of faith. It is saying, Lord, I trust your direction so much that I do not need anyone's approval. It is choosing to walk securely without leaving any gaps, because those who protect the plan reap its fulfillment. If God is moving you, obey, but do not rush to announce it. Pray, plan, proceed in silence. When the right time comes, God Himself will reveal what you have carefully guarded. And then, no one will be able to hinder what has already been confirmed in heaven. The journey of those who are chosen by God is never ordinary. There is an invisible weight that only those who carry it know. It is not just about promises, gifts, or revelations. It is about a spiritual responsibility that requires vigilance, maturity, and silence at many stages along the way. There are moments when speaking is necessary, but there are moments when heaven demands absolute silence, not because you are hiding something, but because you are protecting what is still being formed within you. Some plans need to grow in the dark. Some promises need to mature out of reach of curious eyes. The intimate battles you face, the dreams that God has given you, the words you have heard in secret, all of this carries weight. All of this has a right timing, and heaven does not move in haste. It moves with purpose. Your role is to obey and to guard, keeping the strength you have developed, the prophetic dreams, your growth. And even the next step is not a lack of faith. It is wisdom. It is a sign that you understand that there are things that only flourish in protected environments. While many speak too soon, the chosen one learns to walk in silence. He learns that the process is more valuable than visibility, and that what is built in secret has roots too deep to be shaken. God knows every detail that you have not told anyone, and He is with you in every silent step. Continue faithful, continue steadfast, and above all, continue guarding what heaven has entrusted to you with fear and reverence. If this content touched something in you, share here in the comments what resonated with your heart or made you reflect. Your experience can strengthen someone who is also learning to guard in silence.